It's the anniversary one family hoped would never would come. I spoke with a mom who's been missing her son for 8 years ago today. The call to action that she has for all of you watching tonight is coming up.
Plus, an unexpected impact. I speak with a soon-to-be mother about how Conway Medical Center's new visitor restrictions could impact the birth of her very first child.
Frequent flyers and the PD rejoice.
Which major airline is expanding its services for you?
And why airport officials say this is a huge deal as it looks to rebound after the pandemic.
Your news at 6 o'clock starts right now.
Live, local, now. This is WNBF News at 6.
And good evening to you. It is 6 o'clock. I'm Eric Weisfeld.
I'm Meredith Heline. Thanks for joining us. First at 6, a family's search for a missing teenager hit a grim milestone today.
Yeah, it's been 8 years since Zach Malinowski was last seen in Aner. WNBF Zach Wilcox joins us live now from Aner Park, where Malinowski was last seen playing basketball.
And Zach Malinowski's family is still searching for answers.
Yeah, Meredith, 8 years ago today was the last time Zach was seen at this park behind me. You can see these basketball courts now empty. Those were the courts that Zach was last seen on. He asked his grandfather if he could head out and play basketball that afternoon and was never seen again. I talked with Zach's mom today, who said really what she's looking for is she wants some closure. It's the not knowing that makes every day of the past 8 years just a little harder than the last. And what she wanted to remind people is that Zach is still missing here 8 years later today. So any information that people have would be helpful in this investigation. Now, Zach was staying with his grandparents here in Aner in the summer of 2013 when one afternoon he told them he was heading to Aner Park to shoot some hoops, and Zach never came home that night and hasn't been seen since then. His car was found 8 days later, burned, but with no trace of Zach. And Zach's mom has moved to West Virginia, where she has more of her family there to support her, but she still comes back here for vigils and to search this town, anxiously hoping to find any trace of her son.
It's never going to be over for me. It's harder today than it was first day because at least you had hope then that you could come home.
Now, 2 men were charged in this case. The charges were dropped against one. The other is awaiting trial. However, Zach's mom tells me that the thing that would bring her the most closure is being able to bury her son and have that closure with him. So any information that anyone has, they can reach out to Horry County Police Department. That number should be down here at the bottom of your screen. In Aner, Zach Wilcox, WNBF News.
In your Crime Watch tonight, this former Florence County deputy is on the wrong side of the bars for assaulting a man he arrested. Brian Proffitt pled guilty to second-degree assault and battery and misconduct in office for that 2019 incident. An investigation found he hit a handcuffed man in the head with his flashlight after arresting him. Proffitt's sentences will run concurrently, so he'll serve a total of 6 months in prison and 4 years of probation.
In Lumberton, one man's being held on a $200,000 bond for allegedly shooting and killing his girlfriend. Happened at the Econo Lodge on Capuano Road back in June. Officers say that suspect, Frederick Kane, was outside of the room holding his abdomen, claiming he was shot. Kane told officers his girlfriend, Kimberly Smith, was also shot inside that room. She later died at the hospital. But when officers checked out Kane, he didn't appear to be shot. Robeson County Sheriff's Office arrested him, charged him with second-degree murder.
Hot and humid once again out there this afternoon across the beaches right now. 84 in Myrtle Beach, feeling like 93. Plenty of sunshine, though, across the Grand Strand. We avoided the showers and storms today. They have, though, flared up a little bit further inland. Here across parts of Florence County, had a decent cooling downpour in downtown Florence. A couple of those now not too far from Darlington over towards Hartsville, sneaking towards Society Hill, and the south central sections here of Marlborough County, as well as the Marion-Dillon County line. But notice closer to the beach, it is dry. It stays that way as we work our way through the rest of the evening and overnight hours tonight. And in fact, a much drier forecast overall as we work our way towards the weekend. Now, overnight tonight, we slip down to 76 in Myrtle Beach, 75 in North Myrtle and Longs, 74 in Carolina Forest, Conway down to 73. Then we do it all over again tomorrow with those temperatures across the beaches into the mid to upper 80s to near 90 once you head across interior Horry County, with Aner hitting 90 tomorrow with that high humidity, though. Heat index going to be into the upper 90s to around 100. And we're going to watch that heat continue to build as we head into the weekend with more triple-digit heat index numbers and plenty of action out in the tropics. I'll be breaking down coming up in my full forecast.
DHEC is continuing to encourage mask wearing, but not to the length of mandating them in schools. Public Health Director Dr. Brandon Traxler says in general, DHEC does have emergency authority to control the spread of the disease, but she explains that authority is meant for the agency to be able to quickly respond to an emergency in a local situation. Traxler says essentially only some school districts in South Carolina meet this definition.
The situation's not the same in every single school district. So using a statewide order to apply something to all schools in this situation using our authority, it would be very difficult.
DHEC is instead continuing to encourage lawmakers to revise that proviso that currently prevents districts from mandating masks. Instead, DHEC is urging legislators to let school districts make those decisions for themselves. And more than 2,600 new COVID cases are confirmed across our state today. This increases the total number to over 571,000 cases. Of those new cases, DHEC is reporting 206 are in Horry County, 79 cases are in Florence County.
As COVID cases continue to rise, one local hospital reached a grim milestone today. Conway Medical Center says it passed its previous high number of positive COVID-19 hospitalizations. In July 20th of last year, that number was at 56. Today, officials say 57 people are occupying the beds there. And out of those 57, 22 of them in the ICU, 10 are on ventilators. Meanwhile, patients at Conway Medical Center can't have as many people visit them as before. COVID-19's recent resurgence has caused leaders at CMC to reinstate visitor restrictions. WNBF News reporter Patrick Lloyd joins us live now at CMC. And Patrick, you spoke with one woman who is likely going to be affected by all of this.
Yeah, that's right, Eric. The woman I spoke with is pregnant. She's planning on giving birth here at CMC in mid-October, but her whole plan for who she was going to have with her at the hospital is going to have to change.
It's exciting. I'm super excited.
Kristen Stevens is looking forward to welcoming her baby boy into the world in mid-October, especially because the 25-year-old wasn't sure she'd ever be able to have a baby after finding out some bad news at age 14.
So I have cysts on my ovaries and I have endometriosis, and my uterus is shaped abnormally, so they said it'd be kind of hard to actually carry the baby if I ever did get pregnant.
Despite going through her teens and young adulthood with the assumption she might never become a mother, she's now nearing her due date.
And here we are almost 33 weeks later, and everything's been perfect.
All this means Stevens was looking forward to having her large family join her at the hospital to celebrate the birth of her first child.
I had a whole birth plan, with who was going to be in the room, with who was going to be the first one there, all the pictures and everything that we were going to be taking. My sister's actually a photographer as well, so she was going to do that in the hospital.
But Conway Medical Center's recent decision to allow only one visitor per day for mothers giving birth threw a wrench in Stevens' plan.
It's just really sad trying to decide who is going to be the first one in there, because one person per day, only one. If I'm there 2 days, 2 people will be able to meet him in the hospital, and then everyone else has to wait, which is really sad.
Stevens says going forward, she's going to have to do what she has to do to adjust.
As a hyper planner, it's really stressful. Now I have to rethink everything that we were going to be doing. So not so great, but I guess I have a couple weeks. So I'm trying to be positive about it because, at the end of the day, the health of all the patients in the hospital is important, and for my baby is important as well.
Conway Medical Center says these restrictions are temporary. Leaders here at CMC continue to monitor the number of hospitalizations due to COVID in order to determine when the right time will be to release these restrictions. Live in Conway, Patrick Lloyd, WNBF News.
All right, Patrick, and from one healthcare system to another, Tidelands Health is looking to hire more than 100 temporary workers. They'd work at Tidelands regional vaccination sites. The healthcare system expecting a boost in demand for the COVID-19 vaccine. Tidelands leaders are also looking to fill more than 200 permanent jobs. If you're interested in applying, we have a direct link on our website. That's WNBFnews.com.
News for travelers coming in or going out of the Florence area. There's now a new option available to you. Florence Regional Airport is adding its 3rd American Airlines flight beginning in September. Just a few days away. WNBF News reporter Cameron Crowe spoke with a business leader who says the airport's growth is a good sign as other airports struggle. Cameron.
Yeah, Meredith, Florence Regional Airport has made a huge rebound as leaders announced it will add an additional flight to and from Charlotte. This is a big deal for an airport that's seen its ups and downs over the last year. Last August, American Airlines stopped service to and from Florence as the airline industry saw less travelers due to the pandemic. The new flight is the third announced in 2021. It will run midday most weekdays. Greater Florence Chamber of Commerce President Mike Miller says it's great to see the airport trending in the right direction. Miller tells me other medium-sized airports haven't been so lucky.
Out of the 550 so medium-sized airports within the United States, there may be as many as 100 or 150 in jeopardy of losing air service altogether. So for us to be in this situation, not looking as a negative, but as a positive in adding a flight, it's encouraging from a lot of different angles.
The first flight is scheduled for September 8th. Reporting live in Florence, I'm Cameron Crowe, WNBF News.
The state of South Carolina's labor shortage. Our Adam Minster takes a closer look at how our state's economy is doing after federal unemployment benefits ended nearly 2 months ago. But first, here's your mosquito meter for today.
Did Governor McMaster's decision to end federal pandemic unemployment benefits at the end of June improve South Carolina's labor shortage?
Well, it's a question many are asking as help wanted signs continue popping up across the state. Adam Minster has been looking into the story for us, and he's joining us live now.
So, Adam, has filling jobs been any easier for businesses?
Eric, it has, but one economist I spoke to said it's hard to pin that on just one thing.
Well, it likely had some impact on the labor shortage, because if we look at the job gains over the last month, a majority of them came from the leisure and hospitality sector, which is the sector that typically pays below $16 an hour. And that was how much workers were receiving with the federal unemployment benefit. So it likely did have a disincentive, and we're seeing those workers come back. However, there are multiple factors driving this increase in the labor force.
But while it's looking better, Von Essen says there is some bad news. He said the last time South Carolina's unemployment rate was at this rate was November of 2016. Then the job opening rate was 4%. Now it's 6.5. And Von Essen says one of the reasons that there's this disparity between these two numbers, despite the unemployment rate being at route the same number, is because baby boomers are retiring. And he said they're able to retire because the stock market is continuing to go up and continuing to do well. So nothing like what we saw in 2008 and around that same time in 2016. Reporting live from the South Carolina State House, Adam Minster, WNBF News.
The quarterback battle is heating up in Columbia. Next in sports, Gabe McDonald shares who's leading the pack to win the job under center.
Ahead of next week's season opener, all of the attention is on the South Carolina quarterback room. Gamecock OC Marcus Satterfield is not ready to name a QB1. He first wants to see how Luke Doty progresses. The Myrtle Beach grad was at practice today without a boot on his injured foot. So perhaps Doty is ready to go come September 4th against Eastern Illinois. If not, Satterfield has confidence in the other quarterbacks on the roster. He said today that Jason Brown and Colton Gaucher had one of their best weeks last week. Sat also mentioned that Brown shined in the team's previous scrimmage as he gains command of the offense.
More comfortable in this offense and the decision making, the processing, and at the line of scrimmage and the things we ask him to do. He's able to do it a lot faster and a lot more natural now than he was doing in the spring and even in the spring game. All those things that he had been building up to finally came to fruition Saturday night at the scrimmage, and he had a really, really good night, and he's just continued to just get better and better the more reps that he's gotten.
One quarterback competition that officially closed today was in the pros. As expected, #1 overall pick Trevor Lawrence was named the starter for the Jacksonville Jaguars. The former Clemson Tiger beat out Gardner Minshew to win the job. The Jags wrap up the preseason on Sunday in Dallas, then open the regular season against Houston on September 12th. Lawrence is grateful to earn the job, even though some believe the decision should have already been made. He's not one to feed into the outside noise, as he knows there's still plenty of work to do to make the Jags a contender.
There's always people saying different things, for you, not for you. It's just, it's always, you just block all that out. I know the situation I'm in and these coaches and these players, like we're all here to win. We're doing everything we can to win, to prepare, to play our best, and that's really all that matters. And to your point, I just try to block all that stuff out. Like all I can do is be the best I can be and just keep doing that every day.
And wrapping up this evening with some baseball news, the Shants have added to their support staff. Tim Perry joins the program as the Director of Player Development and Analytics. Trey Stover, meanwhile, will serve as the Director of Baseball Operations. You can read more on both online at WNBFnews.com. And the Myrtle Beach Pelicans are back in action tonight as they continue their series against the Columbia Fireflies. This set is part of a 12-game homestand for the Birds. First pitch, as always, coming up tonight at 7:05 p.m. The Birds were 6-1 winners last night. In the previous series between these two, saw Myrtle Beach take all 6 games. That there's going to do it for your sports. Jamie has one last check of your forecast.
All right, Gay, we're keeping it quiet here as we head not only through the rest of this Wednesday, the rest of the week, though, heading into a sort of tranquil but hot weather pattern here as we round out the work week. Notice that forecast for tomorrow taking us back into the upper 80s. Rain chances out of the forecast as we head through the rest of the week, although Friday could see a stray shower. Notice by the weekend, if you're making some beach plans here, no concerns for showers or storms, just plenty of typical August heat. Upper 80s at the beaches, right around 90 inland, heat index up there around 100. We'll keep those nights on the muggy side as well into the 70s. We'll also continue to watch the tropics as we head through the end of the week, but as I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, despite all of the action in the Atlantic, nothing showing any kind of direct threat to us, which is certainly some good news.
If you're going to do a skills test at the DMV, there are some changes you need to be aware of. First, masks are now required for both applicants and examiners during all road and skill tests. And starting Monday, skill tests for regular driver's licenses are by appointment only. You can only book that at the SCDMV website. Starting the Tuesday after Labor Day, the DMV will do modified skill tests for a driver's license. You'll be tested on the same skills as in a traditional road test, but you'll be in the car alone while the examiner watches from outside.
And as you know, those kids are back in school, but it's not just a time for them to learn, but for you drivers as well. WNBF News Today anchor Lauren Korn shares how to safely share the road. She's keeping you safe tonight at 11, only on WNBF News.
And tonight on WNBF News at 7 o'clock, balancing your haircut with COVID safety. The trend one salon owner says she's seen and what she has to do to stay afloat.
First, that's right after NBC Net News with
Back here in about 30 minutes for WNBF News at 7 o'clock.